They're back. The seditious six is now seven. They've got a new member, Senator Jeff Merkley. He didn't like Trump's Easter message to Iran, so he's telling our men in uniform to go AWOL. Quote, to our military leaders, remember this. You are legally required to refuse orders to commit war crimes. So what's a war crime? Alyssa Slotkin, one of the original six, says it's as simple as turning off the enemy's lights. The Times agrees.
Are you concerned that your threat to bomb power plants and bridges amount to war crimes?
No, not at all. No, I'm not. I hope I don't have to do it. Mentally, these are disturbed people. If you think I'm going to allow them, and powerful and rich, to have a nuclear weapon, you can tell your friends at the New York Times, not going to happen.
If knocking out power is a war crime, Bill Clinton should be in The Hague. Slick Willie obliterated Serbia's power grid back in '99. Both the Bushes did it in Iraq. Lyndon Johnson hit a few power plants in North Vietnam. It was called Operation Rolling Thunder. These targets are selected as humanely as possible, considering dual-use systems and the law of proportionality. But the goal of war is to win. We aren't hitting their water, hospitals, or hotels. That's what Iran is doing to our allies. Remember, these aren't civilian power plants. The Guard runs them and gets dibs on the power. So hitting that type of target hurts the military and their ability to fight back. The ceasefire terms are simple. They have to open up the strait and knock off their nukes.
Patriots, I'm at Restored Republic via a GCR update for Tuesday, April the 7th, 2026, compiled by Judy Byington. 7 trumpet EBS alerts to sound out on every phone across the planet, announcing temporary worldwide martial law, and 10 days of communication darkness. Banks, ATMs, internet shut down, phones, emergency calls only. Be prepared. Stock food, cash, essentials. Judy note, on Monday, April 6, 2026, the U.S. Army Special Forces raided over 200 Hollywood mansions, going inside homes of the biggest names in Hollywood. Luxury gates were smashed. Hidden basement elevators descended into personal dumb tunnels that connected to the Mount Rushmore master map. They arrested the heart of the deep state. With the mass arrests now in full force, a financial tsunami and global lockdown with temporary martial law appeared imminent. The new gold asset-backed quantum financial system was set to wipe out the Rothschild central banking system that was based on child sacrifice and child sex trafficking so prominent in Hollywood. Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citibank could soon be offline with your bank account. Balance zero, bank card declined, ATMs and bank apps not working. It is advised to withdraw your bank account monies out now. This worldwide financial collapse had been coming for a long time. Dutch banker Ronald Bernard had reached the highest levels of the Illuminati, crashed national economies, bankrupt companies, and was an expert at money laundering. As with most involved in international banking, he was involved in a satanic cult. until while at a party he was asked to sacrifice a child. It was then he turned into a heroic whistleblower, exposing the dark secrets of our global financial system. Just prior to his suspicious death, Bernard did a series of TV interviews uncovering the Illuminati pyramid of power. He had a simple explanation of how it functioned. They used child sacrifices to test and blackmail members. And there's a link to a video of his interviews. It was not surprising that Bernard did not survive after laying bare illegal activities of the international banking system. His satanic group, the Ninth Circle Child Sacrifice Cult, was powerful, complicated, centuries old, based on pedophilia and blackmail for political power, organized by Vatican and funded by U.S. taxpayer dollars, funneled through the CIA, NASA, U.S. Inc., Queen's Bank of London, and Vatican Bank to central banks across the globe. With nefarious activities enforced by various mafias who ran international child exploitation, kidnapping, murder, adrenochrome, and organ harvesting, drug and gun running rings. In the late 1700s, the Rothschild dynasty built banking empires across Europe by financing both sides of wars. They profited massively from debt while seizing control over governments and economies. They now dominate modern central banks, extracting wealth from Americans via inflation and endless debt. At the core of their success lies dark satanic rituals where they sacrifice children to Satan, harvest their adrenochrome, and consume their flesh in a satanic pact to gain power, glory, and renewed control over world finances and politics. U.S. Department of Justice files and whistleblowers have confirmed that Ariane de Rothschild, head of the Edmund de Rothschild Bank, had deep ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein's trafficking network was ruled by the Vatican Illuminati and accounted for millions of missing children yearly. The Vatican Illuminati Epstein child sex trafficking network, also known as the Ninth Circle Satanic Cult, supplied the Rothschild family and other global elites, including U.S., UK, Canadian, and Australian politicians, with young victims, whom they tortured to maximize fear, extracting adrenaline-rich blood and consuming flesh in honor of Satan. The Vatican, Washington, D.C., Ukraine, and Palestine were considered the child sex trafficking, adrenochrome, and organ harvesting capitals of the world. The Vatican's human trafficking was housed in sophisticated underground tunnels beneath the Vatican, Washington, D.C., Ukraine, and Palestine, and then stretched for thousands of miles under seas and continents across the globe. The tunnels were connected to every major city on Earth, even lay beneath Capitol Hill and the White House, and were equipped with rail systems, living quarters, and illegal bioweapon labs. Tortured children were also put in submarines, sneaking to Biden-owned Water Island that lay next door to Epstein's pedophile island, and other islands, including one owned by Oprah Winfrey. All was believed part of an extensive ring of Satan-worshipping, child-sacrificing pedophile elite network that trafficked children captured in war or disasters, kidnapped from the streets, caught at the border. A dumb child sex trafficking tunnel was recently found running from El Paso, Texas, to Ciudad Juarez, Mexico. Or perpetrators simply produced their own. The children were used for adrenochrome production, highly sought after and very expensive blood of traumatized child, human experiments, child sacrifice to their god Satan, or sexual pleasures of the political and global elite that were then videotaped and used to blackmail the perpetrators to do the bidding of the Illuminati. The perpetrators were powerful and high up on the elite scale. MS-13 members were being used as foot soldiers to traffic children for our corrupt elected bureaucrats. The Obamas, Clintons, Biden, Epstein, Prince Andrew, and fellow elites all have worshipped Satan and pedophilia, torture, and child sacrifice in tunnels beneath the White House. There was evidence that Nobel Peace Prize recipient Mother Teresa, Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz, Prince Andrew, Kevin Spacey, and multiple other global and political elites were involved in child sex trafficking. In 2010, Obamacare was allegedly designed to facilitate this international child trafficking ring by tracking potential victims targeted for use of the elites. Trump's global military alliance has been directing special forces from 22 nations in the largest military operation in human history to put an end to child trafficking. Beginning in October 2019 and ongoing even today, the Alliance has held coordinated raids on the massive network of tunnels and bioweapon labs across the world to rescue child victims. On Wednesday, October 16, 2019, an unbelievable 2,100 children being held in cages in underground tunnels at the California China Lake Military Facility in California were rescued by 10,000 Navy SEALs and U.S. Marines. The children and teens were said to have been sexually abused, tortured, and killed to collect their adrenaline. Since then, raids on underground dump tunnels with illegal U.S.-owned